welcome back to This Beaded Life. I am here today because I have not had enough of the Bead Obsessions box for November, Blushing Amethyst. So we're going to open it back up, and I'm kind of feeling stretch bracelet today. And I'm kind of feeling like stretch bracelet stackers today. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And it's also a really easy gift to give. So let's take a look at it and let's see what we can make. Okay, so I am here with November Bead Box Blushing Amethyst. And this is what I have. Isn't she pretty? And we are going to make some stackers. And I also have here my favorite stretch cord by Bead Smith. It's Opalon. And I'm using the 0.8 millimeter, and I am going to double it up. And how we're going to do that is, in case you haven't seen before, I've done this in the past. I'm going to get one of my scrap pieces of bead stringing wire, and we're going to make like a needle out of it, okay? But anyway, while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to take a look and see what we have here. So there's so much that I'm in love with in this box. So there's a lot of purple, and you guys know, like, I haven't always been a purple fan, and I am a purple fan now. So I know we need to do these pink fire polish, and everything needs to have an accent bead because that's just what we need to do, right? So it's either going to be a metal bead or it's going to be another bead that, you know, accents it. So we're just going to dig these out of here. I'm not sure where my one scoop is. I got this one. Let's see if this one works out for us. I don't know if this works as no, not really, because it's more for like seed beads to like scoot them around. That's okay. Let's just do this. We're going to get all of these out. And I think if we do like a stack of 4, I think that'll be perfect. Another thing that you're going to want is like an old baggie or a scratched piece of paper and some E6000 because you're going to want to glue your knot. So let's do maybe, how about this melon? That's really pretty. Look at how shiny and gorgeous that is. So maybe we'll do a melon there. And then let's do this purple. Actually, I want to do a few of these melons. So we're just going to pull a few of these out because I really love them. They're so pretty. So we're going to pull these purple little swirly ones out. And with those, I feel like we could do, let me think. So we have these. And then I think that if we take like 2 of these and put them like the wide part up against each other like this, and then we could do like another cute bead in between. Like, let's see how this looks. Not as much of a fan of that. How about this little purple one here? Now that looks cute. So we could do that. That'd be a really cute little focal for that. What else can we do? Let's do, oh, I know. Let's do these little pearls. I'm going to do some of these pearls. I want this to be a bracelet that I can wear separately or together. That's what I'm looking to do. And I don't know if we're going to use any metal pieces today. I think we're just going to use all beads. It's going to be head to toe beads, right? And then we have these really pretty little rosebud beads. So let's just pull out those. We're going to just use some of those. And then I want to make a really dainty one. And we have these little tiny beads here. So we're going to pull those out. And with those, I thought it'd be cute if we use these pinkish ones here. So we're just gonna put a few of those pink ones in here. Let's get the rest of these little purple guys out because we'll probably need them all. There we go. This box is beautiful. You know, I end up going through like so much of their beads. You guys, if you haven't shopped there and like signed up to get on their rewards, you need to get on the rewards. I have so many points now from shopping that I'm going to get some good deals. Let me tell you, it's going to be fantastic. All right, so I have my E6000 here. I have a scratch piece of paper over here next to me. I have my opal on. The only thing I'm missing is a piece of my scrap wire. So I'm just going to pull a piece of that. Here's a little scrap right here. And we're just going to make this into like our needle. Okay. So we're going to use that as our needle. We're going to focus on one bracelet at a time. And I think we'll start with the pearls. So what we're going to do so we can have consistency, I'm going to just show you how I do this. So I measure like this. I just kind of put it around my wrist and then pull it out about, but not tight pull out, just like loosely, about 4 inches on each side, okay? And then I double that. And that's going to be one bracelet. All right, and then I just need my scissors here. And then we're going to cut 3 more the same length. There's 2. There's 3. And then there's 4. And they're not all exactly the same length, but you know, I tried. All right, so let's put this back together. And now you're not supposed to have to stretch your Opalon stretch cord. You can still give it a little stretch, and you know, you can. A lot of other stretch cords you want to pre-stretch. This one you really don't, you're not supposed to have to stretch it, but I like to just give it sometimes a little, just a tiny little bit. And what this does is if you're using like regular stretch cord, which by all means you can, it does pre-stretch it. So that way when you put your beads on, you're not stretching that cord that much more. And over time, stretch cord does not last forever. You know, it does lose its tightness. So this just helps prolong the life of the tightness of your bracelet, if that makes any sense. So now we're just gonna start beading our little pearls on. Just get them all on there, our little check pearls. And it takes a second to get it over that little hump, but once you get this squished down, it goes over a lot easier. See, that second one went over way easier. And just so you don't wear out your stretch cord also going over it, you can, if you're doing like a long bracelet or a regular bracelet or whatever, you can move your needle around on the stretch cord too to like preserve an area. But if you're doing something really short, like a little like keychain thing that you're only using a few beads on, you really don't need to worry about it a lot. But like for this one and maybe the small beads, I'll probably move it just a hair just to try to preserve some of my stretch material. I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal, but you know, it can be. But this is by far my most favorite stretch cord. It has all those little fibers in it, and the fibers just help really make it stronger. And yeah, I like it. And as long as you're not like, you know, constantly wearing it in the shower or stuff, you take it off like your regular jewelry, you know. When you're getting ready to get in the shower, you take your other jewelry off and you know, put it away. Just, you know, take good care of it, and it'll last a long time. And the nice thing about stretch bracelets, if it does look like it starts it needs to be restrung after so many years, just take it apart and restring it. Super easy. Super duper easy. You don't need any clasps. You don't need any of that stuff. There we go. And let's just keep on moving. All right, well, I'm gonna finish stringing these pearls on, and then when I get to the larger beads, I'm gonna bring you back so we can check our sizing, and if we need to pull some of the pearls off and save room for some of the bigger beads, then we can do that. And we'll also do our knots together. So I'll be right back. I have quite a few of the pearls on here now, so let's just take a peek at it and see how it's measuring up to my wrist here. So we do want to like be a little bit snug, so I'm just going to tug on it a little bit. So it looks like we have plenty of room for our larger beads, which is great. So we're going to stop with our pearls, and we will just put those back in the box, and we'll be able to use them for another project. But let's go ahead and find our little rosebud beads, and let's put those on. They're so pretty. Look how sparkly they are. They're so pretty. Okay, that one's a little bit harder to get through. It must have a smaller hole. So we're just going to carefully try to pry that over top. We did. We got it. So this is what I'm talking about. So now I'll probably move it just a little bit like that, and then we can move the stretch cord within the bead. There we go. It looks good. Second one wasn't as bad. Sometimes it's just getting that first one of a different size hole over top of that wire. There we go. Let's try 4, and then if we have room, we'll do the 5th one. If we don't, we'll just set it aside and we'll use it in another project. Actually, I think 4 is going to be, well, maybe, you know what, let's put one more on there. Let's see. Well, actually, no, I don't think we want to do that, because when it stretches, I just want to make sure, yeah, I'm covered all the way around. All right, so this is how we're gonna do it. First and foremost, let me grab my little scratch piece of paper. Baggy or stretch piece of paper, or scratch piece of paper for your glue. Get a wire that you're not really caring about, like a little tiny piece. I lost my head pin, my yucky old head pin that I was using before. Oh, let's see. Okay. This is why I keep the icky ones, because they're good for stuff like this. And then we're just going to put a little dab of glue on our paper. Yep, E6000. I'm going to take this off. And we're just going to slide our beads down very carefully towards the loop part of our bracelet. Just leave yourself a little loop at the end. Okay. And then you're going to take your 2 strands that are coming out the other end. You're going to loop one through here. Oop. Put one through the loop. You can finish pushing those up towards that loop once you get that hooked on there. And now your loop should just about almost disappear inside your beads. And then you're going to take your strings. You're going to put the one side through once and twice, like that. Make a little surgeon's knot. And then just make sure it's nice and tight, and do it again. Okay. And then we can put our glue on. Just really need a little dab, and you just want it all around that knot. Okay, very good. We can come in and trim this off. And then we're going to take the pearl bead and pop it over that knot, because our pearl bead is bigger than the other one. And I cut my little strip short enough here. All right. And here is our first one. And if you see some glue, it's okay. We can get rid of that. And it just pulls off. You can just scrape it off. I really did not cut that short enough, did I? It's just like poking out. Oh my goodness. Get in there. Now I'm going to get glue all over my fingers. I'm like a preschooler. I just have glue everywhere. There's like colors everywhere. There we go. Now we should be able to hide it in that pearl. All right. Goodness. So there's our one bracelet. We're just going to let that finish drying. We'll try them all on at the end. But there's our one little stretch bracelet. And isn't she pretty? Look how pretty she is. So definitely you can wear it by itself or with something else, for sure. All right, so let's move that aside. Let's do this one next. All right, so we know that we have this for our focal. I think that's going to be really cute. And I don't know if this is enough beads. Do I have... I might need... I'm going to grab a few more of these just in case. And we're going to grab one of our stretch cords. And we're just going to kind of just do like what we did before. We're just going to pre-stretch a little bit. Okay, not much. Don't have to do much. All right, then let's grab our little needle. I'm going to pull you guys out just a little tiny bit. There we go. We'll match our ends up here. There we go. Oop, this one still has some of the stuff in it. There. All right. So now that we have that, oops, keep on pulling. Keep pulling, Jody. There we go. And now we can start with our beads. I'm going to use these purple swirly rondelles. They are so super cute. I love that like kind of opal-y look to the check glass beads. Whenever they do that, it just looks so cool. It's very pretty. And these are all the right shades of purple for me. I mean, just beautiful. You got some that are more kind of like a berry, like a raspberry, and then you have some that are like a lavender, and then you have your pinks thrown in there. It's really pretty. Yeah, I got glue all over my fingers. Apparently I'm not allowed to play with glue. This is perfect, a perfect gift if you don't know what size wrist somebody has. You can always make it for like a size, about an average size wrist is between 7 to 7.5 to 8. So you can always make it like roughly around 7.5, and it should be okay for most people. Otherwise, you know, you can make it a little bit bigger, or if you think that the person might have a smaller wrist than that, you can make it a tad smaller, but usually 7.5 is about average. is about average for a wrist. All right, so let's just finish stringing this on. We're going to want to watch this one kind of close because of the focals that we're doing. So let's check our sizing with this one. Oh, I still have quite a ways to go. Like I'm not even halfway there. So we could probably finish putting the rest of those rondelles on and still have room for our other beads. Perfect. It's so hard to tell when it's laying flat on a mat like this. You know, it's not until you pick it up and, you know, do it. You know, so many people have said, you know, you should use like bead boards and stuff. You know, I have used like the bracelet boards and I have one, but I still just mess up on it so bad because I always forget, is that inner diameter size? Is that, what is it? I'm like not great at it. So I tend to just try it on my wrist because, you know, that's usually about the truer test for me. If I need to make it bigger than my wrist is 6.5 inches around. And so I know that if I want to make it like an average wrist for like any person to wear, I would want to make it between 7.5. And so just really would need to add 1 more inch of beads. And that's not even a big deal. It's like what, maybe 3 beads the size. So all right, let's try it here just in case. I don't want to go too far and having to pull some off. Okay, actually I'm glad that we stopped here because this is where we're going to probably want to stop. So we're going to take this. We're not going to use these last 2 of those. Those will go on a pair of earrings really easily. And then I think what I want to do is I want to use this little guy here. Actually, no, I don't. I want to do it this way. I want to put this through the small side. Ooh, we may not be able to use them. Are they going to not? These may not go 2, or maybe it's just a couple of them there like that. And if that's the case, that's all right. We've got plenty of things we can do. Yeah, those are a little bit snug. No big deal. We're just going to put those back. And then we are going to maybe we do use a couple metal beads. So we could do maybe a metal bead. Will it fit through these little purple ones? No. Okay, that's okay. We have other projects for them. Let's just do that. Maybe take one of these back. I wonder how this looks because I'd want to put 2 more of these on. Oh, you know what? We do have like that saucer. Hold on. Hold on a minute. And you know what? Maybe one of these. We might not need one of these. I can always restring it if I'm wrong, but I just want to see something. Because we have these really cute, like little flying saucer beads. They're so super cute. All right, and it's like the same shape as this, so why not? Let's put this guy on. And now let's see how this measures up. And remember when you're using big, oh, this is like pretty perfect. And when you're using bigger beads, you're definitely going to want, you're definitely going to want to have more stretch cord. You're going to end up using more stretch cord. So we do need to add 1 bead, and we're just going to add it right here at the end because it's going to match up with this other end over here. So let's just pop that on there. All right. And then the same thing like we did last time. I'm just going to pull this off. We're going to put 1 of our strands through here. through our little loop. Hang on to both of those strands, and we're just going to work those other beads on the other side where the loop is. We're just going to work those up until that loop kind of almost disappears into that bead. And then we can bring both together. Oop. Bring both sides together. There we go. Put one strand through and through again. Oh my God, there. And pull it down. Make sure it's nice and tight. Do the same thing with the other side. I mean, with another knot, sorry. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and cut this off now because I firmly believe in my knots. And you can save these little pieces because you might find that you can do like a cute little stretch ring or whatever. I mean, you'll be able to find something. All right, and now, because I think I let my glue dry too fast on that paper where it got funky, so I'm just gonna clean up the end of that little head pin, and I'm just going to dip my head pin right into the glue because I don't want it to be like super goopy. And then we're gonna pull this apart. Where did it go? There it is. See that teeny little knot right there? That's what we want. And then I'm just going to take some of this glue and just rub it on both sides of that knot. And then we're just going to take one of our beads, pop it over that knot, and now we're good. Here's our pretty bracelet, and here's its friend. So there's two so far. And let's put the cap back on our glue so we don't cause any issues or pass out because of the smell. And let's go and move on to our next bracelet. Let's do this little teeny tiny one. This one we may have to add more of those beads. Or, you know what? I wasn't even thinking maybe we could do like some of these look almost like little snowflakes. They're so pretty. All right, now we're gonna get another stretch cord. I'm just just stretch it a little bit. All right, got our loop on this end. That's why I say save these, because not only can you use them for, you know, other little projects, you can use them for big eye needles. You don't need to buy big eye needles. You have scrap wire. And then let's see if we can bead this. I'm hoping we can get through. I really want a little dainty one. Oh, I don't know, guys. Do I have any thinner wire? Because I'm using some pretty thick wire here. Let me see if I have a thinner wire scrap. I'll be right back. I actually did have a thinner piece. I have the extreme fine wire here. So hopefully this will make it work. Oh yeah, that works. All right, now let's just see if we can get it over the stretch cord. We got one hurdle down, we got one more hurdle to go, and let's see if we can do it. If not, we can change our mind and do something else. Oh, no, it's working. Ooh, but you know what? That's pulling some stuff off there. We don't want to do that. Yeah, we don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead. These can be part of another project because they are beautiful and I will use them. Probably make a really pretty pair of like wrapped hoop earrings out of them too. They're gorgeous. All right, so instead, we're gonna go ahead and grab the rest of those. And it's so funny because I'm like, oh, we're not gonna use any metal beads. And then what do? I grab some metal beads. Why not, right? We don't have to use them in all of them, but we should use them in 4, I guess. So let's grab all these pink ones out of here. Go. Just a few more left. There. All right. I still have glue on my fingers. Jeez, I I'm going to have glue all over my fingers for like the rest of the night. I have to go scrub them down. All right, so let's get that one on. Now that wasn't a problem. It's just those little teeny tiny ones. You can also size down on your stretch cord if you want to still do like, 2 of them. Or you can just make it down to 1, and then you might want a big eye needle because it would just be easier for you at that point. But I love the 0.8. It's like, seems to be like the perfect size for most beads. So that's the one I tend to go with. You'll see that if you see some designs, they'll tell you to use 0.5 or something else, and that's fine too. But my go-to for pretty much all of them, in my humble opinion, and I am not a professional by any means, I do not believe that you need stretch cord in all the sizes like you would other beading wire, for the simple fact that the 0.8 to me is like a good all around, and like I said, you can double it, you can single it depending on what you're using. If you're using really small, tiny, like the little clay heishi beads, you're going to want to just use 1 strand. You don't need to use 2 strands for those. Those are so light. And I mean, they're like air on a string. So, but just for me, for durability, especially if I'm giving something away, because I don't know what other people do to their jewelry. I just have no idea. Like, I know what I do with mine. And I think sometimes I need to make mine a little more stronger, and because I can be pretty rough on my own jewelry. So, but yeah, if you make it for somebody, just think about like the worst things they could do to the jewelry you're making, and just try to like combat all those issues when you're making it. There we go. But yeah, this is a really great little gift, and it'd be a great stocking stuffer for, really anybody, because you can do men's stretch bracelets. My brother loves my stretch bracelets. I've made him several, and I think that's his favorite. Like, he likes the ones with the clasps too, but he's all about those stretch bracelets. They're so easy. I don't have to even think about it. I just throw them on in the morning after my shower while I'm getting dressed, and I have my bracelets on, and he loves them. So I'm probably going to make him some for Christmas. We're really scaling back on Christmas this year because, the economy has been kind of rough, right? I mean, and I really do want to make sure that everybody gets, something, nice that they wanted, but then I'm also going to make some stuff for people. So I've been putting some stuff aside and making some things, and because of all the bookmarks I got from Broke Bead Girls, I'm going to be, everyone I know is getting a bookmark. I don't care if they read or not. Everybody I know is getting a bookmark. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. And what I might even do too, for like the girls in the office, I might get like one of those like little office like diary planner type things, really cute notepad or something, and match up a bookmark with it, and maybe even like a cute dangle. And you can get those cute little notepads like at TJ Maxx, those little books for like $5. And then if you just make like a little like a dangle, and then maybe like a little bookmark, which I'm going to make some of those bookmarks on camera so you guys can see how easy they are. And then that way it's something that you can use your ribbon that you have at home. You may not have to buy anything. You may have everything you need. So I'm going to show you how to do those. Super duper simple. I want to talk to Colleen about the ribbon earrings, because she makes ribbon earrings every year, and I really want to try to make some, but I don't want to make them on camera because I know she usually does. But I do want to talk to her about them, because I have to go back and try to find her video from the holidays so I can see if I can find it. If not, I'm sure she'll know exactly where it is, and that way I can watch it again and learn how to make ribbon earrings. If I find it, I will make sure I share it with you guys, because they're so stinking cute. I have never seen them before until I saw her make them. I was like, oh my gosh, those are darling. All right, I'm not sure how many of these spacers we're going to want, but I'm going to put a few on here, and then we'll look at it for sizing again. Let's look at 5 and see what 5 does for us. All right, so let's try this on. I think we want to add probably the other 2 spacers. I think 7's going to be good. So let's do that. There we go. Okay, let's do this knot together. These are a little bit tighter of a fit, which I'm okay with. But we just gotta, there we go. All right, so I have it through the loop. And we're just gonna do the same thing that we've been doing. 2 surgeon's knots. So here's 1. And then here's the second. And we'll come in here, trim that off. There we go. And then we're going to grab our glue again. I'm going to clean the crud off of it with a piece of paper this time and not my fingers. Let's expose our knot so we can find it easy. Oh, I probably got too much glue there. Let me pat some of that off on that piece of paper. There we go. And we're just going to slide those metal spacers over top of that knot. And they're going to hide it for us. Or maybe we need to put the bead over top. There we go, got the bead over top. Okay, takes a little playing with it sometimes. All right, so there's our other one. Look how stinking cute this is gonna be, you guys. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? We got 1 left. Hold on 1 second, and then we're gonna come back and do that last one. Okay, so stretching my cord. Just a little stretch. And there we go. Oh, what did I do with my little needle? Oh, I flipped it. It's right here. All right, so let's make this last one, guys. This is our last one. So we have 2 that have some metal beads on them and 2 that do not. I think this one right here is probably going to be my favorite out of all of them because I just love these pink fire polish beads. They are just absolutely glorious. And let's just keep putting those on. So pretty. This girl is a sucker for check glass and even more of a sucker for check glass fire polish. Absolutely love it. I placed a little order on the Bead Obsession last night, and they had some mystery like boxes. So I ordered a mystery box and I ordered some really cool clasps that I want to try out and see how they are. And I also ordered some really pretty, like giant red round check glass beads. And it's so funny because I'm not so much of a red person, but I saw them and I was like, oh, those are really gorgeous. I was like, I kind of need to have those. So I think I might have, I probably should have ordered more than one. Probably should have ordered like 2 or 3 of them, but we'll wait and see. You do get quite a few beads, but I'm trying to think of like, because when I saw it, all I could think of is like chunky necklace. But then I'm like, well, if I don't have enough this time around, I can make a chunky bracelet and then can always make a chunky necklace later. After I order more. Jamie, we love your beads. We love your beads. You have beautiful, beautiful check glass. I wish I could find like for myself to sell check glass this amazing. Like I can find some decent ones, but man, this pink. I mean, just look at this pink. This pink is amazing. But you know what's nice is I get to play with it. I'm here and I'm playing with it and I'm making a fun set of stretch bracelets for myself. If I want to make any for anybody else, I'll do that later, but these are for me. Put a couple more of these on. We'll check it after this one because I want to make sure I have plenty of room for my melons. Oh, actually, I think I might want to take a couple off. Let me see. Try one more time. You know what that means? I have more of these pink ones to play with later. Let's take 2 of them off. I can always put another one on if I need it, but I want to get these 4 melons on here because these are glorious. The coloring, the facets, they're a faceted fire polish melon. Really? Like, oh my gosh. It's like, or like copper wash. Maybe they're not so much fire polish, but they're copper wash faceted melon. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, I didn't know that existed until like I saw them in this box. All right, let's see how we look now. That might be a little bit big. Yeah, we've probably gonna take off one more of these. And then let's try it one more time in case I'm wrong. Nope, that's perfect. All right, guys, that's perfect. All right, we're gonna take this off. We'll put one of these strands in here. You guys are seeing how to knot these like over and over and over again, and I'm so sorry if it's aggravating, but we're making all 4 of these together. I wanna show you how I'm making a set, and that's important too. And then I'll even show you what I would do if I was gonna give them as a gift, if you like. And that way it gives you a little idea. All right, so now we have that, and so we can, our loop has just about disappeared into there. So now we can just do our little surgeon's knot here. And again, I always forget how much I love doing stretch cord. And what did I do with my scissors? There they are. That's the other thing you're going to want too, is when you're working with the Opalon, you're going to want to use your scissors. I've used my cutters before, and it just doesn't work super well. Your scissors are actually way better to use on this stretch cord than your regular cutters. I'm just going to grab a little goopy goop here. And let's go into that knot. And let's just rub some of that glue on there. Okay, and then we're going to take one of our melons, I think, and pop that right over top, straighten it out, and there it is. That one's a little shaped a little weird. That's okay though, it'll be fine once we get it on. All right, so let's start putting them on. So we had, oh, let me put my cap on my glue so it doesn't get all gross. It's already gross, but I don't want it worse. I don't want it even more gross. All right, so this was our first one. Oh, so cute. Look how cute she is. And then this is our second one. Oh my goodness, so cute. And then we did this one. And then our very last one. There we go. Look at those stacked bracelets, you guys. Look at how gorgeous this is. Tell me that's not beautiful. Look at that. I love them. And they're not going anywhere. They're nice. They're up against my wrist, really nice. I honestly could have like gone one more bead in each one probably, and it would have been a better fit for me. But that's okay. It fits nice. It's not going to cut the circulation off my wrist. But yeah, and depending on how people like to wear them. See, this is actually perfect for me for work because this is my mouse hand, and I don't like it when things move and turn underneath my wrist. So this is actually perfect. They look gorgeous. All right, guys, I hope you really love this one. Oh, wait, I want to show you how I would wrap them up. So let me show you real quick. Just a real easy thing. Let's pull them off. I'm going to grab a piece of ribbon that I have here. This is just a blue ribbon. We probably should use a different color, but that's okay. Just an example. So I'm going to stack them all together with the focal part together like this. Okay, make sure all my focals are facing the same direction. Let's put our ribbon on. And we're going to just take a bow and make a really nice little bow here. And this is how I would put it in the gift bag or the gift box, just like that, where all the little focals are showing and you have your little bracelet set. Isn't that cute? This would be the easiest thing for you to do. Just grab your little scrap bow, your scrap ribbons, and use them as part of your gift wrap. And then you just put them in like a really cute little brown paper sack or put them in like a cute little box. And you don't even have to gift wrap it, honestly. This is like perfect the way it is. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. I will talk to you again real soon. And I'm sending you all my love. And I hope you have the most wonderful night. Bye, everyone.